Welcome to another episode from Takedowns to Breakdowns with A&P, and today we're here to talk about some of our favorite melodic death metal singers. I want to start off with the one and only Jesus Christ himself, Mikael Stanne of Dark Tranquillity. Now, what do you think about him?
I like his vocals, and I think I have a top three. If I was ever to have like my fantasy melodic death metal band, I have three lead singers in mind, and he's definitely on that list. Amazing vocals, the tone beautiful, the way he's able to elongate words but still keep that graspiness that he has intact. It's beautiful.
When I listen to him, he's one of my favorites because he's able to use his voice as a tool that creates movement within the song. Even though the song may be super melodic and super linear, he's able to give movement in the way he accentuates certain notes, certain words, the way he stretches them out. And sometimes when he really stretches them out, it comes across almost like an old witch, like just like pushing, just like dragging that words along. I love that. I love it.
I get that old witch more from watching music videos because he's like trying to pull himself away from the mic, but at the same time he's trying to pull himself, like he's having a love-hate relationship with the mic.
Yeah, I see that as well. Another name on my list is Tomi Joutsen of Amorphous. Now, I know Amorphous is not necessarily a melodic death metal band, at least not today. They're almost more of a prog melodic death metal band, but there's definitely a prog element to them. But I have to mention Tomi Joutsen because he's one of my favorite vocalists all around. Never mind melodic death metal, just metal in general. I love this guy. And as much as I love his harsh vocals, his clean vocals are phenomenal.
That's what brings all the voice of the yard.
To me, if I had to pick between one or the other, I'd pick the clean vocals. I just love the tone, the earthiness that he has in his voice, the warmth that comes when he's singing in the clean vocals. It's so embracing. Now, the harsh vocals, he goes real deep.
I love the deepness of the harsh vocals.
He goes real deep. Sometimes it feels like there's an echo. When he's so deep, like it feels like there's an echo there. Absolutely phenomenal. I think he has an incredible range that he's able to do harsh extremely well and then have those incredible, really outstanding clean vocals to go along. And for a band like Amorphous, you really need to have that ability to go one side and go to the other side and work with those two ranges that you have in order for you to give the band everything that they need for their music to really be what their music is. Now, you're also with the cleans.
I'm with the clean vocals. I like the clean vocals. I do like his deepness. But in my opinion, one outweighs the other.
Slightly. Very slightly.
But in my next one, there's nothing to outweigh here, because Thomas from Wolfheart, he's very one-dimensional, and he's my next, and he's also on my list for on my fantasy band.
Oh, on the top three?
Yeah. Because he is very one-dimensional, but when it comes to my melodic death metal, I do like a deepness in the tone of the voice, and he has that. And not only that, he has an amazing grasp and growl. So everything, all the pieces fit for me. Even especially because Wolfheart, he is Wolfheart.
You can't separate the two.
You can't separate the two. The amazing atmosphere and his voice is kind of like a frozen tundra and a wolf just howling. That's what it is. It's just, the two go perfect together.
I was surprised the first time we ever talked about this, and you said that he was one of your favorites, and you would definitely pick them in the top three, because I feel like the two previous singers have different attributes. Like Tomi has an incredible range, cleans and harshes. You know, Mikael has an incredible sound to his voice, the way he carries, very unique. His style is very unique, and it has also an interesting range that he works with. But I feel like Thomas, as much as I like it, I was surprised that you would mention him, because he's in the pocket and he knows that. Like it's not like he can do a lot. He knows what to do and he does it well, but that's the only thing he can do.
But that's what he's been able to master it. In my opinion, he's been able to master it.
I mean, he's perfect. He is the voice of Wolfheart, and
he's the voice of, in my opinion, he is the voice of that. If you're trying to get my other pick too, but if you're trying to get that cold, wintry vibe in your melodic death metal,
I was going to say that if you're looking at the traditional Finnish melodic death metal sound, if that's the band that you're going with and you're looking for a lead singer, you want a guy like Thomas.
Yeah.
Because you're not looking at range. You're just looking at darkness. You're just looking at somberness, and you're looking at that deep output that really encapsulates the mood and the atmosphere that your music has. And
that
I think,
cold feeling.
Yeah, and I think he's all of that. I think
Yeah.
he's definitely all of that. Another guy that I feel like I have to mention is Bjorn Strid of Soilwork. Well, he's in other bands as well, but of Soilwork.
And a lot of features.
And a lot of features, which shows his range. I mean,
Yeah.
out of all of the ones that we spoke so far, I think he's the most diverse.
Yeah.
He can do whatever.
We got to a point when we were doing videos that it would be like every week we'd have a video where he's featured, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, didn't we do like a video with him featured last week? What's happening here? It's because he's very diverse in his voice.
He's very versatile, and he does features in bands that have very distinct sounds. It's not like he just.
But
does
he's able
it.
to fit.
He fits because he can do whatever. Like, his range is not just limited to cleans and harsh. He can do the clean, harsh, and he can do everything in between. And we see that with the Night Flight Orchestra in terms of what he delivers, that vibe, that almost that 80s disco vibe that he does with that band. So I feel like in terms of tools, of everyone, while he may not be my favorite of everyone that we spoke about so far, we have to admit that he's perhaps the most versatile and the most gifted.
He's talented, man.
He's super talented, the most gifted. Now, to finish off this list, I'm going to throw two names out there because I feel like we both have these names very high up as far as our favorite melodic death metal singers are concerned. And that is Jari with Wintersun and Niilo with Insomnium. Two different styles, two different approaches, two different bands.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go first?
Niilo is my last on my three, okay? Because I love Insomnium, and Insomnium, just like Wolfheart, gives me that cold feeling, and that's where I go into my melodic death metal, is that cold finish feeling. And his voice, comparing it to Jari has a very folky voice. And it worked when he was with 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏, and it still works now with...
Wintersun has a very epic sound.
Because they have a very epic sound, and folkiness and epic to go well together. And his harsher vocals are... He doesn't have the deepest tone, but that doesn't matter.
He stays more at the surface.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter, because his harsher vocals are more of, him being harsh, and the screams and stuff. That's where he really shines, and then his he's
able to elevate it.
Yeah, his high notes, and his high notes are really good because they also have a little bit of a roughness to them.
Some depth.
So yeah, so I really enjoy him from that perspective. But then when I want to get to my deeper bread and butter, Niilo really fits into that.
I agree with you 100%. I feel like Jari has the perfect voice for Wintersun. He had the perfect voice for 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏 before Petri took over, because he has that ability to be heavy but not be overly heavy, and give some bounce to the music,
and he fits the mood.
And he goes where the music is going. With one band it was the folky side, the other one is the more epic side. And we see with Wintersun, some of the songs on the Seasons album, he's able to go even a little bit deeper, be a little bit heavier, and add a little bit of that to the overall vibe.
He's also able to go higher.
He's also able to go higher, which we also see on that record and on previous records. Now, with Niilo, it's an interesting choice because I feel the same towards him as I do towards Thomas of Wolfheart. They're more in the pocket, one-dimensional, deep, lower tone, and that's where they shine. Having said that, I love them because for a band like Insomnium, for that melancholic, for that darkness that the music has, you need somebody who's able to paint the corners. And he's able to paint the corners with his voice. He stays in the pocket, he stays controlled. Obviously, he uses backups for the clean vocals whenever they want to change things up within their tracks. But as far as what he gives is consistency. Same thing with Thomas, very consistent. You know when you press play on one of their tracks, you know what you're going to get vocally.
Yeah.
You know it. You know it. Some of these other guys, you not necessarily know what you're going to get, but with those two, is very controlled. Just because it's very controlled and it's one-dimensional, it doesn't mean it doesn't suit them, and it doesn't mean it's not good. It fits perfectly within those bands. I wouldn't want anybody else with any other voice than those two guys in those two specific bands. And I'll say this, if I'm putting together a melodic death metal band and I want to have that Finnish, traditional Finnish sound, I'm going with either the one or the other.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's what I want. I want them to be able to encapsulate the atmosphere of the music, the atmosphere of Finland in their voice. And I think if there's two guys who do it really well, it's those two. None better, in my opinion, for that specific sound.
Yeah.
For that specific portion. All right, that's it for us. Those are our favorite melodic death metal singers. Who are your favorite melodic death metal singers or singers in general? Hit us up in the discussion, in the conversation below, and we'll be checking it out and getting back to you before we hit the next video next week. So we'll see you.
See ya.